Yo guys, recently so I watched T1 playing, but I noticed a very big mistake on Lucian's part. Now they won the game happily, but there was actually a big building mistake. You see he has very generic Lucian items there. Everything fits in quite well. You can even still go for I because it does provide better pokes and higher pressure, right? Now, the thing is, later on, which every AD carry player does this mistake, they don't actually switch up static shift. Now, why would you do that? Well, in these days, it's a bit easier to switch it off because you're gonna sell it for the 70% of the price, so it's actually easier to buy Kraken or anything else. Now, why Kraken? Now, the reason behind that is very simple. Later on, your DPS does matter a lot, especially into a comp where Azir is a tank, they have a tank Sejuani, they have a tank they have a tank Rek'Sai, right? They have a Lulu, which is not really a tank, but it's more so a front to back oriented team fight at most, and so he needs to push out as much DPS as possible. So for example, if he did actually sell his static shiv, we have the exact same build, by the way, just saying. For Kraken Slayer we see like static, right? 90 magic damage, right? Now the notable thing is that there is a 10 damage difference, but Kraken does provide a bit more attack speed, right? But the great thing is that look, Kraken as an example does 310 damage, right? And 300, it goes up to 360, right? On the second rotation of the Kraken frog. Now keep that in mind that, for example, with static I will deal 90 damage that can bounce, which is nothing in the late game, right? I don't have to do any type of presentation on that. Now the good thing about Kraken is that you can also like ramp it up, and then it's also a better like poking tool than the static, so even for pokes it can actually outdo very easily the static, but you got to more so conditionally stack up in a way that you actually get to like proc it, so you don't need to have like two stacks of it to proc it. If you have your passive, you only need one. So if you basically attack a ward or you basically attack something exactly before your thing stacks up, then you can get it off, but this is a bit more conditional poke, right? But you can stack it off of plants as well and whatnot, but again it needs to charge up, so this is a bit more conditional of a poke, but it's still generally way better because Lucian has a double basic attack passive, right? A double basic attack passive, so this is a simple basic. He has two basic attacks, which does actually stack quite nicely or Kraken. So for example, if you go in, you can get quite a nice amount of Kraken proc, right? So keep that in mind that on Jinx or any other type of champions, I've seen people are not going Kraken or they are not selling it. Keep that in mind that you should sell static for anything. I will not even say examples like Kraken. I mean, Kraken is obviously way better in the late game. If you need in your specific game QSS, of course, get that QSS if it's very important. But you could switch it off to anything. It's one of those items you could buy anything that's actually more useful into your game. Just because generally speaking, this static is meant to like wave clear. It's meant to give you some early game power to shove, to rotate to certain things, to have some extra poke for a cheap price. But although the price did get nerfed, which makes me a bit concerned to even overall go for it. So that's it for now, guys. Have a nice day.